What is up, everybody? My name is Richard Terrell. I go by Kirby Kid, and you are watching the final broadcast, the final stream, the final event for our Mario Maker Workshop School of Level Design. We have been working for over 20 weeks. A group of random people on the internet, semi-random, right? Some people found out about the workshop because of tweets or word of mouth. Some people were part of my design-oriented crew in our Discord channel to begin with. But overall, we have spent many weeks, many hours, and we have done a lot of hard work learning level design and aspects of game design by using Mario Maker 2 as a platform and hitting the curriculum that I created in order to teach us how to design better levels. It's been a long journey, so this stream will primarily just be in the celebration of all the stuff that we've done. We'll play some levels, we'll look at a few things, we'll have some laughs, but ultimately, no more learning. There is nothing left to learn. That's not true at all. But on the mic with me, I got Tony right now. Tony has to leave pretty soon, so he can say hi and let us know a few things about his experiences with the workshop, and we can take it from there. Say hi, Tony.
Hey there. Name's Tony. I found out about the workshop through Richard because we're like online buddies. And my experience with it was pretty good. Uh, a lot of the lessons are structured in a way that like you get straight to the point of the idea with like any topic. Like for example, the power up bingo. That was a really good one where he had us explore a power up in multiple different ways, and you sort of get a better understanding of different aspects of the design that way. And in general, like I was kind of like lazy with it, like towards the end, but I ended up just doing crunch with like baby crunch with like the last like five assignments. So I guess that's a development lesson right there. Don't leave things to the last minute.
True. I've got your Maker profile pulled up so we can see tiny baby Tony with a Mario Maker hard hat.
Yeah, I'm not changing that at all.
No,
Diapers,
never change.
never.
And here are some of your uploaded courses. Let me just swappity swap over here and clickety click this. Yeah, so the uploaded courses from Tony include the latest assignment number 8, Skewer Camp, for a Descartes skill of timing. We have assignment number 7, Bullet Bills Bonanz. Assignment 6, Dexterous Dive, and 5, Lakitu's Bombing Run. 4, Goomba Eschewin. 3, Enemy Gauntlet. So Tony's been hitting these assignments in the last week or so like crazy. And then came from much longer ago, as you can see, 726. This is Bonus Room Blitz and Slopes Are Dope. Switching in the Sky, The Lost City of Periopolis, Block Playground, Scaling Seesaw Spire, Big Bully Bullet Bill Barrage, and Swinging and Swimming. I've shown off a lot of these levels on stream, so this is Tony and all of the work that he's done. So yeah.
I wish I could have done more.
There's
But
always time in the future.
yeah, to next semester hopefully
Yeah, that's
in the
cool
future.
though. This level, Swinging Swimming, was one of the first levels I put serious time into speed running. It was a lot of fun. Firecakes did a lot on this level, and he still has the record, so he earned it. Seesaws, Skeeta, ruining everything. Well, I still have the Lost City of Periopolis for whatever reason. I still have Switching in the Sky, Skeeta. Zera has Slopes Are Dope. Who is this guy? Nademi? Nademi?
Matt Damon.
Yes. Mike Broken has Enemy Gauntlet. Goomba's a shoe-in, good old Akamarak. You got a bunch of people. Different people for almost all these. Wow. Okay. I mean, that guy stole my skewer record? I just got that. Anyway, not important.
Mhm.
So yeah, just taking a quick another look at Tony's influence on the workshop. Even though different people have contributed different amounts, I want to kind of show you how the workshop works. via this. Oh, let me just change this real quick. Oop, boop, boop, boop. And here we go. Yeah, so Tony has done quite a few things. A lot of the ideas that Tony had. Let's do this, Tony. Tony's V slide. That is your only idea, Tony? Oh no, right here. Oh, so we've been spelling your name incorrectly? Are you Tony with an EY or Tony with a NY?
I put it with EY.
Weird.
It's the logo. Yeah, I did that just to be fun.
Alright, so two sides of the same coin. We got some gameplay ideas there. We have Bombing Run. Bombing Run turned into a course for the Mario Maker workbench. So even though you put in this effort many months ago, like it kept rippling forward and people were inspired by your ideas and the things that you've done. Yeah, you have a handful of entries.
I completely forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we got our courses tab, and you can see where Bombing Run came from. Where is it? It's called Bombing Run. Lakitu's Bombing Run, right here. Local Tony. Interesting. It was used multiple times? No? Okay. Oh yeah, Mario Maker Workshop Bombing Run right here. So it was used both in your assignment and also for a workbench project. So yeah, one gameplay idea with very different applications, and that's really what's cool about learning game design and having the language to talk about it. You get to see all the versatility and the unique qualities of every maker and every single aspect of contribution that they offer. Very good. Hopes and dreams, Tony. Did you achieve your goals? Did you do everything you set out to do?
For the most part, I just wanted to like learn some new game design stuff and make some good Mario Maker levels and just enjoy it even better. So I think that the workshop has accomplished that for me. But I guess like my only major regret is having to like leave it for a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of I want to play and more levels I could have made. Especially like Harbors and Jeffs. I don't think I've ever played any of their levels. They make some good stuff, so we'll work on that later.
Cool. Do we got Greg on the mic too? Are you hidden in the mist, Greg?
I'm here.
Cool. I'd really like to get your perspective too, because everyone has been sort of a unique member to the workshop, and just talking about how the different aspects of the workshop worked for you guys. And I died. But Greg has been somewhat of a stealth member, and it's interesting. We can take a look at his maker profile here, Gollum right here, and he did not check any of the goals. Greg said, I don't need goals. But nonetheless, Greg did so many assignments and took it upon himself to be the person who tries to steal every single speed running record under our noses. Do not know how you did it or when you decided to do it, but I would like to know more about this mysterious Gollum that even when we post a level at 2 a.m., you somehow try to snag the record before 8 a.m. the next day. Were you always
I
a
guess
Mario
I saw myself.
speedrunner?
Oh, I guess it's more that, well, you know, in a Mario game, in a normal Mario game, you have a campaign and you move from one level to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario Maker 2 doesn't really have that kind of flow to it. Just wanted to get more out of the levels somehow, and that's how I managed to do it.
Wow. Let's take a look at your profile too. None shall escape.
I guess part of it actually is that, you know, and I feel like in Mario Maker, people like really dig into their own levels and want it to be the best level ever. So I feel like perception, but the levels feel richer than canon Mario levels.
Interesting. You got any levels that stand out in your mind? Because we fought over some of those, Greg. We fought. And then Kita decided to join the war for no reason.
It was Fire Cakes had one with a lot of one-way gates and Goombas, and I thought I was going to beat Marcus, but then he already had a score like 0.3 seconds better. I posted that on Twitter some time ago.
I need to take the record from this Shmoyoho. So continue.
Continue about memorable courses.
Were you always this meticulous and competitive with the games you play? Because I know you like playing shmups, but nobody had any idea that you would turn into Golem, the world record stealing Golem. So like, I just didn't know you had it in you.
Normally, well, okay. What I meant to get at about the Mario campaigns is that, and then you get the next. But I don't really like random mode, and when you're doing levels one-off, you to another level. So beating a single level at a time, and that's not really a satisfying accomplishment. Playing one level for 5 minutes and then being done with it, I'd rather 30 minutes. I kind of wished Mario had a better scoring system so that it would be worth having a score attack, but
yeah,
a timer, having a timer as your high score works well enough for Mario.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I want like mini achievements, getting all the big coins or stuff like that, or some kind of score attack, but yeah. I believe that should be necessary enough. That should be enough to beat his score by at least 0.4 seconds. Maybe 0.2. Give it, yep, 0.3 to 4. Stolen back, cool, now we can examine Golem's profile. That goober should freaking back off. Here we go, Golem Live, let's see what you've got going here. 479 mega points. Do you know how many hours you have in this game?
200.
Yeah, that's about what I have. Do I have 400 or 200? But yeah, it's that's a lot. It's just crazy that I have so much more in games like Smash Brothers. But here, Mansion Land. You've done all these mini-series because I guess you still miss that whole connected level aspect. But you have lots of courses. Desert, spelunking up and up, collab. I liked collab. I don't know who you collabed this with, but that was interesting.
That's my friend Steve from New York.
Donut Secret House, Star Road 4. You got all kinds of crazy things. And look at all these assignments. Look how diligent you were. So hopefully you got a lot out of this. I'm not sure what some of your other goals or ambitions are because you didn't fill out the sheet at all. However, you were a very highly contributing member to the workshop.
I guess, well, I mean, ambitions, I wasn't aware of them. It was more just the ride. Wouldn't have, like, a lot of the assignments I didn't pursue with any learning in anything in particular, but then the course of it, in particular, you wrote those mini games for explaining, here's what timing is, here's what dexterity is, etc. But I did a fine job of explaining what the concepts are. But I feel like even then, levels around those concepts made it hit home even more.
Yeah, that one more additional layer of engagement helped drive everything home. Yeah, What were your experiences like working on the workbench? Because people would pass you things. Let me just flick over here. Let's type in Golem.
I gotta
and see
go.
what... All right, thanks for joining us, Tony.
Thanks for doing this workshop, man.
No
Really
problem.
cool.
It was a lot of fun. Hey,
See ya.
see ya. So Golem, you were in charge of Dotted Spawn Block as a project you spearheaded. You did not probably start any other projects. Okay, that's cool.
Nah, that was the only one.
You did power-ups in that and layers. You also were in Bombing Run. You did tricky maneuvers with soft penalties. And You'll Never Find My Real Body. You were the finisher on that one. So those are your contributions to various workshop levels. And, if you have any comments on what it's like to collaborate with people, what it's like to share an idea, to interpret somebody else's vision, to be assigned different specific aspects. Random thoughts.
It's for the ones where the latter two, where I was working on the speedrunning layer.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy to come in at the end because balancing done, so the idea that those authors wanted solidified. So coming in and cleaning up the speedrunning nature of those levels already had an identity that I could. Whereas the one I started, the dotted spawn blocks,
Mm-hmm.
was more difficult because to make the level easy enough that somebody else can copy it and still work on it,
Mm-hmm.
but dense enough that it's interesting. So it's the basic layout portion is definitely harder than the ending portion.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some people are a lot better at basic layout. And everyone has different areas that they're strong and weak in. Hey, I found the secret. But Zara's really good at basic layout. A few other people, and then some people are really good at layers and secrets, and being able to come in halfway through a project and refine it is also a highly important skill. Because that's what makes everything click a lot of times. I got a few levels myself where I came in and I saw that everything had an interesting idea, but it just wasn't there yet. So I just took the liberty of rearranging things and keeping the spirit of the idea there and all that funness. Yeah. Good old Mario.
In general, I found that the authors in the workshop communicated through level design pretty clearly, and that because I also remember things I encountered with the workshop was the level of counterpoint that people expected out of levels was higher than I was, but still people made it work.
Yeah. How did you use any of these streams or websites, web pages, or anything like that as in these last 20 weeks to stay caught up? Did you mostly use Discord or what? Because to be honest, we haven't heard about Greg in the workshop basically at all, and he's rarely in the chat. But he's always been this consistent person. So I'm just curious of what your experience and perspective was like.
Definitely lurk the chat. Definitely, I got a kick out of all the commentary Zara had. I feel like Zara, in particular, has taken the opportunity to been a man of a million questions, but in the workshop, he's really taken them on and tried to answer some.
Yeah.
And fun to watch.
Cool. We got more people in the chat. Cool.
I skimmed the streams.
All good.
The hour and a half block of video is daunting. like you'll pick a level and play through it a couple of times, play through it once as a newbie, and another time trying to assess the different layers, another time trying to speed run it. So it's to see someone act out like a close reading of a level.
Yeah. Yeah, the streams were always largely supposed to be a resource for people to get live answers and live feedback, and for the most part, people use it as a way to catch back up, which is perfectly fine. But if there was anyone out there that really needed a direct one-on-one kind of look at their level, that's what the streams are primarily for. But yeah, they have a lot of uses, and they are long. Yep, that's what I do.
To that point,
yeah.
Bumpy Flight up clearing it in like 20 seconds, I think. But in that stream, there's 30 minutes dedicated to just that level.
Yeah, Bumpy Flight. What did I do? Did I just die a lot? Or did I talk about
No,
things?
you just you spent so much time pondering every element of the level.
I'm playing it right now on stream. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, this one. And then that speedrunning path that I took the lower, and like all these funny things that happened. And stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for answering questions. We're gonna give a few other people a chance to say hey, just in case they don't have a lot of time. But I'm gonna show you guys, if you're looking at the stream, this is the big secret that I had for you guys. And I'll drop the pictures in the Discord in case you're not watching the stream. But this right here and right here. Cool. Harbrush, go ahead and if you have to leave soon, go ahead and say hey.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Ooh, a little echo. Yeah, so we have Adrian, Akamarak, Kaim, Firecakes, Gollum, Harbrush, all in the chat from the workshop. And as you can see in the stream or in the Discord, been working on, took a few minutes to draft up these Mario Maker Workshop shirts. They got all of our Mii's on the back, and our names, supposedly, potentially, and, our workshop points and our maker IDs. And this is my gift to all of you guys for being a part of the workshop and making this thing such a success. So expect some kind of yellow soft object in the mail some point within the next few months. Yeah, so if anybody has anything to chime in, you can you can unmute yourself, guys. It's not, this isn't like school where you have to raise your hand. But they're probably all listening to the stream.
I don't know if I'm actually cool.
Oh yeah, this coin. This I made a principle about this. Never put coins behind enemies like this. I was just like, lick the enemy, but then they got the coin and I ran face first into it. It's something I had never thought of. But now I do. Oh, I can't flutter with Yoshi. Playing Yoshi's Island for... Hey, do you see that pipe down there? Greg has used this pipe trick twice. He likes putting pipes underneath one-way platforms. Like this. That's part of his secret way of creating a one-way wall backtrack. Interesting. We could call that the Greg. Somebody can put that gameplay idea in. Steal Greg's points. Yeah, Akamark, anything to say? Anything to add? What's up?
Not much. Let's see. Well, enjoyed the workshop. Trying to think how to sum it all up.
If you need help, I got this questionnaire. Hopefully everyone will fill it out because it has copy link, important information in it. But this could help you answer a few questions right here.
Okay, I will take a look.
We will look at Akamarak's profile. Where is he? There he is. I hope you look exactly like this. Complete with bullet bill.
Yep. Basic. Yep. Always. I don't have legs. I have just a bullet bill.
Bullet bill butt.
Yep. Fire coming out down at the bottom.
Magic Ambush was a collab level you worked on. Slide and Climb was an individual level you worked on. Goomba Kick Castle was one of your first non-assignment levels, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Then I have a whole bunch of assignment levels, and then I have some collaboration levels that other people uploaded.
Neat. Yeah. There's still more that you've done. Yes. Let's check and see if Skeeta's ruined my day. Nope, I got that record. Haji, you can have that one. Haji, you can have that one. Gollum! Firecakes. Who the heck is Hecko? Bleach, good job, Bleach. Zera, snagging a record there, good job. Diddle! His Japanese says Deitoru. So diddle, or diddle.
Didoru.
Yeah, Didoru.
Didoru. Yeah, something like that.
Yep, that guy. Zera, good job for stealing that record. Who's Maveko? Maveko. No thanks. Gollum again. Yay! No. Zera. Firecakes. That's 2 for Firecakes, 3 for Zera, 3 or 4 for Gollum.
Yeah, no, I think most of my courses have workshop members as their world record holders.
That's what I want to see. Yeah, and even though Kaim was only with us for the beginning, his course there and back again was one that I referenced often because I thought it
was really interesting.
Still one of my favorite. So interesting. But I already talked about it on a stream, like 3 streams, 3 different streams. This is one of the latest collaborations.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Looks like Harbrus and Firecakes have tackled this one. Let's go ahead and pop a nooch. That's a neutral air attack. I dressed up for the stream. So this is okay, I can show you the origins of this. So check this out. Look at that.
Nice.
That concept, which I will exit to show you in our spreadsheet.
Ooh, no, they're offset from each other.
Yeah. In the spreadsheet,
Hey, that's pretty cool.
We have a gameplay idea. We have not that. This. Type in. Well, I can just use the workshop search. This is a little cool tool we created. Donut Ray. Gameplay idea. Donut Rain. Thwomps off the top of the screen. Place donut blocks beneath the subtle player movement, pseudo-random, will cause donuts to rain down. Now this was a concept that I originally came up with because... more info? This is like the worst way to get to my own profile. I'm dumb. And you guys can't even see it. Boom. So this idea originally came from one of my uploaded courses when I did the Enemy Gauntlet. And this was still when making courses was still very intimidating for me, so I was just going through the curriculum and not worrying about trying to make something super complicated. Except this room became one of the most complicated things I've ever made. Inspired by Jiffy Pop and other popcorn apparati. This has thwomps on top, and only when you jump do donuts... does it trigger the thing, but you have to jump because enemies are coming. But then the way you jump makes like a random pattern of donuts every time. You can try to see if any of them repeat. They never repeat.
Yeah, it was a crazy room.
It still is. And then I was like, wouldn't this be funny if this were in a non-crazy stage? So I put the gameplay idea in called Donut Rain, and I was like, somebody needs to use this. Unfortunately, get out of here. Firecakes and Harbrus took it upon themselves to create a workbench assignment in which Donut Rain is the primary gameplay idea. So let's see how well it turned out. if you guys have any thoughts on working with the workbench or working collaboratively or this level or donuts, then please. So as you can see here, like how are they desyncing, you might ask? If I stand here, will it always be the same desync?
Oh, nope, that's different than the last time, yeah.
Let's see if it's that way again. I think as long as they don't move. Huh. What's up with donut blocks?
Would you like for me to chime in on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Go ahead,
the
Chime.
thwomps.
Go ahead, Kime. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
It's a good one. The thwomps up there are touching the donuts, which would make them automatically fall. If you run under them, they'll actually move up a bit and slam down, which causes the donut timers to reset.
What? Running makes the behavior slightly different? Ah! Oh!
Well, running under them makes the thwomps like move up a bit and down, as you can see.
So if they're
And that
resting
actually-
on it, oh!
that makes them not touch it anymore,
What a
which causes the desync because
What
you're
a
running under them.
clever pseudo-random. Just slight bumps. This is Donut Rain. Very nice. See, mine was a little more complicated, but you refined it pretty elegantly, too. One thing for this level, I thought you would put invisible blocks under each of these.
Oh, that would have been something. I'm not sure if that would be doable with the one-way.
Yeah, can you stack that on the one-way
Yeah,
platform?
you can put one-way platforms beneath just about any element in this entire game. You just can't put multiple one-way platforms.
Oh, that's right. And I feel like when I sometimes I forget that because if you try to move things with like a group move, then it'll delete it. But you can move them
that's super
individually.
annoying. I already did the speed run for this, but this is the slow way. I like how you tune this stuff very, very precisely for some of these maneuvers for speed running. I want to say that somebody tuned it precisely for that. I'm not sure if.
Yeah, it took some time to refine this jumping to be able to run for it.
Yeah, I think Harvest did a lot of the tuning, and he helped with the idea expansion for the second half of the level.
Nice. This part right here is neat that you can not trigger the this on-off switch. There's not really much different that happens in the level because you leave it, but that could have been another way to do kind of like a Kime thing where if you hit the switch, it's one kind of difficulty, an on-off hard mode kind of a situation. There we go. And I love this part. I was just like, what's going on? I died. That's tricky, but I should have just rode the donuts
There is
down.
slightly different there. If you leave the blue off.
So cool.
Oh, nice.
Ah!
Takes out the.
Yeah. And that
Oh, what are those enemies called?
a spike.
Yeah, there's spikes.
Oh, the ones the spikes were killing though.
Pokey.
Pokey, that's it.
Pokemon. Pokey.
That's
And look at this nice.
the interaction. There's fun.
I totally thought this was Kisho Kintetsu when I first played it because that first area was so clear, so distinct, and then this last area I was like, that twist with the spike, I was like, like it. It's a little hard to jump on these donuts as they're falling down, but that's half the fun, right?
Yeah, it was really easy to go
Mission accomplished.
make it too difficult with the jumping challenge. Had to like really tone it down.
This level's super clean. Looks like the workshop overall, when they make sand levels, are really clean. Just saying. It's a little observation. Very good. Let's see what Harvest is up to. 150 maker points, or 150 likes, 2,574 maker points. They changed that recently. Over the Rainbow, Spooky Clock, TikTok, assignment. From the very beginning with this merry jump. Where's my cursor? I liked your bonus rooms. I remember those. The Fire and Icy Tails was frustrating. Clown magic tricks. I like the Yoshi stack level. I remember those. And this simple castle loop. I like apnea. Dangerous steps. Yeah, that's the straightforward jumping one, I think. Birdcage I really like. I remember Birdcage. Spooky Clock, I think, did a really good job with the P block, P switch, yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a gold staircase there.
Yeah, the golden staircase. Yeah. Cool. What else we got? Who else is here?
I think I gotta go now.
All right, thanks for
It's
joining
late
us,
here.
Harvest.
Later.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Who's next? We got Adrian.
Mm-hmm. There's I forgot to mention some of my courses can't upload because there's a crazy bug where if you make a copy of a level you've already uploaded, it will show it as being uploaded even though I haven't. So I have some levels that if I wanted to upload, I'd have to copy them all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gotten around to that.
World record from this little punk. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your experience.
So I didn't actually get to collab in that many. Only one was Shellfire. I got to be project lead on more than I had collabed.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing, well, actually one of them isn't finished. It's just River Styx,
Okay.
or at least if it's done, I haven't seen the final version yet. But yeah, being able to, start a level and then hand it off to someone else and kind of have them clean up the layout later on was really helpful, especially for Slip and Slide.
Yeah, that was such a good level. Yeah, such a good level.
Yeah, so it was really interesting by putting the speedrun aspect and seeing how some of the basic layout needed to be burned down a little bit just to...
Burned down.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was mostly just, kind of a zigzag shape with a couple going a little bit back up before you go back down again. But some of the holes that were cut through it to make, some of the alternate paths to make it more speedrunnable was really interesting. So, seeing that final result, it was way beyond what I would have expected, or probably what I would have done myself if you left the rest of the level up to me.
Mm-hmm. Very neat.
Yeah. As far as the assignments, I found incredibly helpful. In fact, I had a couple where even though they were already done by other workshop members, I just went back and did them anyways. But the reason why they're not up is because of the issue I described earlier, where if you the guilty one is I made that copy of 7-1 and uploaded it, and then I just kept making a copy of that because I liked starting out from an already made Nintendo level and then just like adding stuff onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why you don't see some of my my other assignments on there, because there's about 4 of them that are hindered by that bug. In any case, the other levels that I worked on and got feedback for, mainly because of when I was trying to be a bit more experimental and seeing enemy combinations that you normally would not have seen in a Mario game, or seeing where can I use, that crazy jumping cheap. Getting in the feedback on that, and also just like fixing more the issues that I have when making levels, particularly that things just get a little bit too dense. I like, put another way, I also like, what I like a lot, what some of my favorite levels are, like Bombing Run. I basically like going for that stuff, but I still haven't worked out a way to clamp down on that yet. Where, I like having a lot of stuff, and I like a lot of contraptions. So where you see where some of my issues were in the Piranha Cheap Jungle was that there's sort of like a bonus level density that it kind of violates, where almost everything interacts with something else off screen,
Yeah.
or something, or there's every other screen there was a secret or some kind of power up. So it was just too much in too little of a space. Mario, I mean, Mario does have those little playgrounds, but it's not nearly to the extent that I was cramming some stuff in. So getting that feedback was helpful. In addition, learning some of the things like the bullet bill study and trying to derive principles from that. Just learning to work more with the camera, because that has come up as an issue, at least with some of the ways that I've been working on levels, or at least properly spacing things out so that I can count more how things should be put apart from each other, so that not too much crap is cramped in. Because when I initially set it for that one other nutty level, the assignment for Goombas and bullet bills, a lot of the bullet bills were too close to each other, but that was because I was following a principle that I had gotten from the original Mario. But because of the camera difference, the original Mario is like 16 tiles wide, Mario Maker is about 24. That little difference, and you can see most clearly when you play the 7-1 remake, means that there's more bullet bills on screen than there normally would have been, which means that they're more dangerous for much longer. So, learning how to deal and learning how to think about elements like that has been really, really helpful to me. And yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think one thing that an interesting takeaway for me from the workshop is now I can articulate better what I don't like about many other platformers. And their level design does not contain a diversity of gameplay ideas. It's just stuff and hard jumps and whatever. I'm like, it's not interesting. It's just it gets old pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, it's interesting that bullet bills are more threatening because of you can see a lot further. Didn't think about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of those more unexpected things that I was not expecting for it to be an issue.
That reminds me of a talk that the guys that made Nuclear Throne had that same talk where they were like, we could have made this widescreen, but then you get attacked from the sides a lot more than the top and bottoms because the side you could see more on the sides, so they decided to make it 3x4.
That's an interesting situation that Crikey is having right now. His game's widescreen, and the sides of the screen are safer, and the tops are more dangerous, and it's annoying. Get away from me! I got that record. Get out, whoever you were. Okay. Yeah, I learned a lot. I think for me, creating the curriculum, having to teach it a bunch of times, and learning all the different ways that people take to the ideas differently, and how many ways it can be confused, and how many ways I needed to clarify was also helpful. But then putting it all together in the website, which I'll show you right now. The website, it was a really good exercise for me. Having to explain to people what development is, having to explain what counterpoint is, having to explain all that, right, is it's something that I do somewhat intuitively, right? Like, one of my favorite things to do in Mario is to create levels and layers, and I can create layers easy. It just happens. It's how I think, and it's what comes naturally. But then trying to teach other people to do that, or just explain it and what makes that different from something else, is always the tricky part. Everyone thinks that their favorite platformer is the best thing ever, but only Mario is, so just too bad.
Take that, other platformers.
Yeah.
If I was to...
Yeah. Oh, just quick. If I was to elaborate, one of my goals, it was to gain a better affinity for making levels with layers and even counterpoint in mind. I'm sure you probably encountered some sections where I'll have like a row of blocks and then one's missing, and then there's a question block above it, and as you try to hit the question block, you hit a hidden block that has something else in it. So being able to think in that more readily, so it's a bit in a crude form, as with all the issues I described earlier, but the fact that it's there that I can further refine is what I appreciate. So have I gotten there yet? No, but I know I'm on the right path.
This webpage will go up pretty soon. It says workshop graduation. Well done, guys. This is a basic summary of what we've done. Points total, we have 17,672 workshop points. We submitted 235 courses with 3,895 individual feedback cells filled out for those. We have 591 individual pieces of knowledge put into the knowledge tab. 429 gameplay ideas, which is crazy. That's like close to the amount of knowledge there is in the game. That's insane. And the workshop has collected 181 different principles governing level design. We created and completed 15 collaborative asynchronous courses using the workbench. That's what this is. And the future, even though this is not the right video. But yeah, the future is always interesting. We learned a lot. One of the biggest hurdles for the workshop and one of the biggest experiments is, can we teach this stuff, right? And can we do it in a way where we help each other? Where the things that we do, the things that we find most fun and do naturally, put it in a structure that allows everyone else to benefit from it. So from the beginning, everything has been open, collaborative, and completely open. You can see all the levels anyone makes. You can see all the comments that anybody makes. You can see the entire history if you so feel like it. All of our knowledge goes into one pot. All of our ideas go together, like everything. We're all for one. And some of the workbench levels that came out of this process were so interesting, so unique. And like Adrian said, if it was just up to one creator trying to pull it off, everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, but it can be just so much work to try to do it by yourself. But knowing that you have an extra set of eyes, knowing that you have somebody else who can do something they can specialize in, or somebody else who can come in and tighten up something that you've made, just helps so much. Some of these levels, Rogue Ghost and Time Loop and basic, almost all of them really, just super interesting, unique, and it's really quite an impressive feat. Working professionally in the game industry, and going to GDC and listening to how people talk about games, a lot of people just simply lack the knowledge and they lack the language in order to really break things down and understand what they're doing. And as you can see, the more precise language you have, the more possibilities you consider. The more gameplay ideas you have. And it's not here. Where's the webpage? But as I wrote in the development lesson, the more you can break down both the game itself and the ideas that you have, the easier it is to find the bridge between the two of them. So while a lot of people may think that game design is just crazy art that you have to use trial and error to figure out, and fun is so elusive, we just can't figure it out, other people just use what they know, apply a little bit of discipline, and are able to much more accurately achieve the results they're looking for. That's the dream for the Mario Maker Workshop. That was the dream for future game development efforts overall, and I think we've proved quite a lot. Considering that we're a mixed group, an international group of hobbyists and programmers and artists and designers and developers and players, and yet we were all able to come together and achieve these results, it should tell you something, right? It should tell you that what we learned, how we learned it, and how we did it, it was able to raise everybody together to a high level of polish and execution. And even without years of industry experience that they require for all entry-level positions in the game industry, even without that, we can do better. We can do better. That's it. So that's quite an accomplishment. It's too bad that GDC did not accept my talk for the Mario Maker Workshop. They are really missing out, and the world will be poorer for it, I guarantee. But we'll keep moving on. We got exciting things on the horizon, and our group, it's great that we all like each other, because if Greg kept pissing us off, if he kept stealing those world records, Greg might be out of the group, and then we'd have a worse group. But no, even Greg and his ability to steal. Is he still here? I didn't even know he was still here. Yeah. I was just picking on Greg. No, but one of the crazy parts about this whole experiment is the entire workshop was built on this concept of communal learning. So the very basics of this learning style is you have to be a community first, and you have to put the people in your community above yourself, right? And when you do that, you create a kind of learning environment that I think is far better than any other. And maybe outside of like a high level teacher giving you private instructions like 24 hours a day, right? Then that's a pretty sweet deal. But outside of that, basically we're able to take a smaller talent pool and able to raise each other's levels much higher, because there are only so many masters to go around. There's only so much time that they have, and there's only so much we can compensate them for their time. But this structure allowed us to achieve similar impressive results with much less. Being able to, everything about a communal structure is important. Hanging out with each other, bouncing off ideas, and even bouncing off ideas that aren't relevant to like Mario making, right? All of it's important. It increases the communication efforts. Doing it all publicly in our Discord or through the spreadsheet means nobody's left out. The voice chat is open to anybody on the internet to really crash the party. Yet we're here and we're the only ones who find this valuable, so we get the most out of it. So I've been very appreciative of all the different ways that we've approached this workshop. Some people come in like Akamarak at midnight. I stay up and say hey to Akamarak just about every night. We have some people that are asleep during the day, but they pop in early in the morning, and international around the clock Mario making happening. I wake up, I check my messages, I'm like, oh, they're working on what now? What's going on? Type in a sleepy message, counterpoint, fall back asleep. So that's what my life has been like for the last 20 weeks. And I don't know how has it been for everybody else in terms of finding the time to work on these things, having the energy to work on these things. Like, let me know a little bit of what you guys think in that regard.
My situation was a bit more extreme. As you know, I was gone in Germany for about 5 weeks, so a whole quarter, and then I was in Chicago for another, so quite a significant time I wasn't able to put into the workshop. And then the past 2 months I was actually just looking for a job.
Yeah.
So my time was quite strained, but that I'm a bit in the more extreme side.
Oh, auto scroll. Anybody else? Did anybody have to like rearrange their sleep schedule?
I was more the opposite, where I was gonna spend the time in Mario Maker anyway, and so having the workshop there was structured way to spend my time rather than just kind of screwing around doing whatever. So it helped me that there were all these assignments there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
It is nice when that happens.
When they first announced Mario Maker, I was like, this could be it. Like, we could use this to do really cool stuff. All we need is freaking co-op online play, and they gave me basically everything that I wanted out of this game eventually, so I'm a happy camper. You jerk! Oh! Jeez! Ah! I'm in trouble. Reflex. Oh, I thought that one was gonna try to hit me. Ah! Only one comes out. Ooh! Not good. Nice. Woo! He gave me the helmet right before I got it. Scary. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the things I liked about the assignments is that it seemed pretty basic. It seemed like a thing that you might go, okay, I'll just do this for whatever and get it done. And yet, even the first assignment, Blocks Only, was a ton of fun. And learned a lot about moving Mario and what makes Mario fun. Some of the most interesting speedrunning experiences I had were on some of those levels. The levels that weren't trying to do anything fancy whatsoever, and yet I battled Skeeta and won.
I think speedrunning, though, is kind of like its own completely different dimension.
Which you call those layers.
Yeah, because like, you could absolutely turn what most people might think is kind of a boring level into something exciting if you're trying to do it fast.
I think that's part of the beauty of Mario design too. Like, a lot of indie games and a lot of platformers just try to shove the idea that's really not that diverse anyway. Like right at you, they force you to jump how they want you to jump. They force you to time it how they want you to time it, and they don't give adequate feedback regardless. So it's just not so good of a gameplay experience. But Mario can lower essentially the skill floor and increase the skill ceiling, and then that just increases. It creates such a better environment for that kind of a thing.
Yeah, and with the layers of Mario, that's something I've noticed about like some indie platformers from the past few years that I've played, or I played through them, and sometimes like I enjoy them the first time, but then when I come back to them, I'm like, oh, I experienced everything that this game had, and so I don't really feel like there's any reason to play it again.
Yeah, like there's nothing else.
Yep.
Akamara,
but Mario is flexible enough that
You in particular, you worked on a platformer-like action game and released it to Steam. I guess a year and a half, 2-3 years ago.
It was October of last year.
Okay, cool. So yeah, like tell us anything that you've learned, or because there's a question on the questionnaire that says, what would you have liked to have known based on what you learned in the workshop, like years ago when working on previous game projects.
Oh, a lot of things. I think one of the things is just figuring out getting the structure for the different categories we looked at in the workshop was really helpful. Working on we made a game called Colette Sugar Madness, and it turned out better than it deserves to be based on my experience, but there were still a lot of issues, and the design process was really messy. And so, like, it sort of, I spent a lot of time just sort of like sort of wandering aimlessly around the design space and being like, okay, what makes any of this interesting? And then it just took me, when I got to level design in particular, I just sort of, it took me a long time to get that going, because it's like, okay, I have these different elements, how do I put them into levels? And so getting into the Mario Maker worksheet, it's like, okay, can start with basic layout, get coins, all those different things, and then going from there, just sort of getting to the point where I can be like, okay, because I think for me, one of my problems is I can see lots of different potential for any ideas. I'm just like, oh, I could go a million different ways, but then I get stuck and be like, which of the ways should I go?
You and Dr. Strange.
And so I had to learn, okay, I just pick one and start going that way, and then we'll see how it goes and make adjustments from there. It was something that was helpful for me. And so having the language, having the categories to think in terms of was very helpful.
Cool.
I would say for me, a good takeaway was like understanding a bit more about how to make fair course. So things that weren't too challenging, because sometimes it's easy to play with an idea of a level and you'd be the one that would be best at it.
Yeah.
If it's like such a unique idea, but then other people would try it and it's like such a wall that's needed to get over it just to like be able to appreciate it instead of like building it up like what we did with the most recent one with Donut Rain.
Yeah.
That one was like a very slow introduction, easy. So I'd say like a lot helped with like fairness, and I'd say a lot with theming. I liked the idea of taking a single idea and expanding it to a level, because it helped like keep a focus on what should be built out in a level and what not to do. I think that's going to help a lot in the future.
I think theming is definitely one of my favorite ways to build a level, for sure.
Hanging with Mr. Koopa is a level that Firecakes worked on. You didn't spearhead this. You did, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, so you started this workbench project and you also uploaded it. Firecakes, Akamara, and Bleach worked on that one. Timing Showcase. Neat.
That one was by far like the wildest level I took part in.
A bunch of assignments. Goomba Colony. So what's cool is we've had some work. I love this one, the Power Up one. We've had workshop members that only came in and did like one thing and left. But what's really cool is their influence is still recorded, right? So everyone who benefits from the worksheet or the knowledge we build here in the future will benefit from every single contribution. But two, some of their ideas were reincorporated and reintroduced into other assignments and other workbenches in the workshop. So like you might never know how you influence other creators and designers outside of the workshop, but within we can always trace it back, and we appreciate every single bit of effort, because honestly this is a video game, this is all of our free time, and I take none of that for granted. I don't assume people are going to keep doing the assignments. I just week to week hoped let's see this crazy level. Yeah, it was fun making them too. What the heck? Do I remember this? I mean, I beat it. Yeah, I remember this.
This one was inspired by a friend and I who played through Super Mario World in like just a night or two.
Hey! But yeah, the way I think about making games now is different based on this experience. So essentially, if you've been following me for a very long time, I've been studying Mario for a very long time. Now it's been over 10 years now because I started my blog in 2007, 8-ish, and then studied Mario, first the original, then looked at every single Mario game, 2D game that was out. Used the language and the categories to break everything down, and then sometime later I used an editor or an emulator for the original Mario Bros, and I made a whole bunch of levels. I made 16 levels, right, of various ideas and various themes, and basically put myself through my own little kind of workshop working with Marcus and trying to produce a level a day at least and keep that going. Testing out ideas and seeing if they worked at all. And then much later, Mario Maker 1 came out. So my favorite thing to do with game design is to help other people refine and articulate their ideas. I'm not so good at coming up with like basic layouts or like starting a project, but I can take anything that anybody else makes and bend it any kind of way. So with the Mario Maker 1, I found people's other levels and I decided to quote unquote fix them, and that's where the Mario Maker Fixer idea came from. And then Mario Maker 2 comes out, and we turned it into an entire workshop where there's ideas coming from every direction, there's feedback to give on just about every level. I can take any idea that comes along and twist it, add to it, talk about it. Like, this is such an interesting situation and format, but this is essentially my third Mario school, so to speak. Been doing this for a while, but yeah, every single bit of experience has been eye-opening, right? I learned a lot. I've been working with games for a long time, but even still, there's so much to learn. Kind of makes me sad and afraid of how little I see other people in the industry doing. Like, how can you not be doing more? I don't understand. I'm sad and afraid. But that's another issue. Ah, I got hurt. Okay, I'm out.
I think someone earlier today was asking about the synchronized pillars, the spike column. That level was my solution getting around that. That's at the second half of the level.
Cool. So yeah, I think as far as having a vision for what future development might be like, you know, Enlighten was a game that didn't really have level design. I made a bunch of levels, but really those things make themselves. Bari Ball was another game that didn't really have level design. It's a fighting game, so you have a few stages you play on, but nothing much more than that. Doing the workshop was a really fun and important experience, and I think moving forward now I have a very clear idea of how to go about creating a game and achieving a similar level of flexibility, depth, and success with its levels, and how to communicate that to a team. I didn't really have that before, at least no direct experience, and I'm glad a lot of that worked out.
Do you want to take a look at Shellfire or save that after stream?
Let's do it. Open up a room.
Alright.
Goomba! Oh, why is my stream on? Stop it. There we go. Yeah, but it looks like a lot of the crew here want to keep going in some fashion. What's cool about the workshop is that it... Nice. It keeps going. There's no reason to stop. If you have an idea, log it in. If you want to make something with somebody, contact them. It's just like how it was before. If they have time, they'll do it. If they don't, they can't. So that's life. It's that way in professional dev. It's that way for us too. Yeah, but if anybody else after Adrian shows us this level wants to play random levels in verses or whatever, we can do that. Adrian, cool. So this is a level. What's the code, Adrian?
111.
Nice. Cool. What is Golem doing? What is this? Fail. Golem, our web programmer, has failed to properly post a URL. Are you gonna kill yourself or what? Wait.
Oh wow, I didn't know if you push the minus button you have like little pre-made text messages.
Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe you guys have talked about this before, but what are your thoughts about the big arrows pointing at stuff to indicate that it's important?
I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, Mario's
Hey.
always done it to some degree. Oh, who's up? Who's here? Somebody said hey?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, cool.
Kaim just asked about, the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Nintendo does it. You look closely enough at their levels, they put arrows in places, coins that make arrows or other kinds of signs and things, and it's not too, rare. This is here now, interesting. That means I can get a... Nice and controlled.
So naturally, the main thing for a review was the fact that you can't as easily get back onto the top path. There is a way, though.
Interesting.
So that was like my only concern, is that it's a bit more out of the way to get back onto the top path.
Yeah, when you're making a level and it's crazy, but you're trying to get the idea out there, it's always better to err on, well, making the level a little easier than you think or whatever, and it's still a good level. It communicates what it's doing, and then I dance with the golden stars.
So the thing that I learned most was I actually had to do a bit of trials just to learn the timing of the fire bar as it's moving on a track. And what I discovered was that fire bars on a straight track going back and forth complete about 180 degrees of rotation. And so for that, when I discovered that, it was much easier to control it and to design around it. Yeah, so it was easier for me to know that exactly what angle it was going to be at what point.
It looks like Marcus's Switch is dead. He was supposed to take it to the dryer thing. Well, maybe it's temporarily dead.
Oh, shoot! Actually, I can show another one.
I want to throw my stars like ninja stars. Free power up. I love this. This is a really good setup. That's so good.
I'm glad. I'm at a point where now I agonize over like really small things like, oh, should I really have used a slope tile there? Because I like the idea of it being a funnel that the thwomp is going through, and visually that helped it out. Also, it just gives you a little bit more space to move before you trigger the thwomp.
So I haven't actually played this level, but just compared to how it looked last time on stream, it looks like it's come a long ways. Like it looks a lot cleaner and more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
I got out. Oh, this replenishes? Co-op. Okay. I'm in trouble.
Yep. Yeah.
Co-op.
That's right. The dry bone shell replenishes.
Ooh, that was close.
See that was another one that I'm like, should I have put that in there? Because it's like nowhere in there, but I'm like, I really liked where it took me, which was having that destructible brick block, making that little dent, so a piece of the level transforms. So guaranteed, by the time you come back, it's going to be a different experience with that thwomp.
So why is this switch here that you can easily just hit it like this?
That was just me copying the layout. I actually, this is the other point of feedback is like I'm not actually sure what to do with that.
I thought that was on the upper part. Or at least that's where I put it.
Okay, so on Tony's one that I copied, it was actually on the lower part. Oh wait, no, it was on the upper part. I forgot to move it back. That's why. All right, well it's a good thing we're viewing now, and I haven't uploaded it yet.
Okay, so if it's on the upper part, if it's on the lower part, the interesting part is you would have to have more on-off blocks on the lower and upper path that just kind of change the way. But then you could always just hit it again. Yeah, it's got to be on the upper part.
Yeah. So that means the parts where you transition from the lower to the upper in order to actually complete the level. All right, so you can sacrifice your shell, do that.
Ah! Keep forgetting about that guy.
Yeah, he's the only thwomp I placed like that just because of what we encountered last time where as you're moving to the right, it's harder to be more aware of things that high up on the screen. Especially if you have another thing in the way. Which is why the...
Hold on.
Yeah?
Jeff, how late did you make those changes? Because I updated that website like an hour and a half ago. About an hour, 2 hours ago. No. Well, there's no shell in there. I'm about to kill myself. I killed myself.
Right. So I have an the current idea I have for how to get you back onto the upper part. Or actually, my first question is the section where you transition paths. So if you go down one way, come to a dead end, it's like, oh no, I got to go back and get the on-off block. If it's not too far of a trek back.
This whole level is short, so I don't think that's a problem.
All right. Then so it seems like all I really needed to do is just put that back on the upper path and...
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if putting a longer fire bar in the middle here will do you some good.
Okay.
Because like
Yeah, in your original version, those fire bars were really long.
Yeah, it was supposed to force you to potentially use the crumble. And right now I feel like the crumble is most useful only in that first part to get to the upper area, and then otherwise, Little Mario handles this just about as well as anybody else. And like even dipping into the lava doesn't change that much considering this bar is low and that one dips low, so like the distinction between those two approaches is about the same.
Okay.
But it maybe just because I could see a normal player or whatever completely getting overwhelmed by these bullet bills and all these timers, so that just could just be how it is to keep it nice and manageable.
Yeah. The other consideration for why the bars, so I try to design it so that it's still friendly to walking Mario, so it doesn't require the run, although that's probably a principle I should maybe let go. Like, yeah, it's okay to make sections where Mario has to run. So the fire bars, they're also tuned so that if you're on the top, you can still jump over them, so they don't make an impossible wall.
I guess I should walk around more. Oh, I guess I could get up here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost as if the top area, though you can get up there with the shell, the top area is so dangerous in a different way, you might consider dropping back down. And when you're down below, you might consider leaving your shell to go up higher. That's just a general idea. There's only so much you can do with a layout, so some of those ideas just may have to wait. Or to watch how normies play this.
Right. Certainly, there would be,
I will
a
say,
different way to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing moving that little amount doesn't do much.
Okay.
So it either needs to move more or not at all. This one is a little. Oh, everything freezing up. This one's more movement, so I like this, but it doesn't do too much considering that all the fire bars are synced, right? So even if that one weren't moving diagonally, because they're synced, the holes to stay safe are the same, and the movement is just kind of like visual noise, unless they move a little bit more, right? Like a crux or a V in the track would make a lot more complex timers situations potentially. I like this one because it's straightforward. That's why I thought one of those fire bars should be bigger, because right now like the difference isn't much.
Right. For this one, I try to err a lot more on like not making it too hard, as you can completely see.
Yeah. I don't know if I like this gap so much right here, because it's very similar looking structures right next to it, and it's like half in the lava. So like, there's that principle I made called like skimming the surface or whatever, and you don't want to put important or platform elements like right in the top of the lava. So having one that's a pit and one not a pit right next to each other, I feel like it's just not necessary. Right here. And then everything else is obviously a pit because it looks different and it's set up differently.
Yeah. Yeah. I think an easy way to fix that would just be change that one to either a bridge or semi-solid platform.
It's so low still. The one underneath the thwomp. It's so low that no matter what you change it to, it's gonna have that skimming the surface problem.
Okay. So just get rid of the destructible brick blocks.
I like those, but just fill in the second pit with hard blocks or terrain or whatever. Right here.
Oh, okay. Just fill it in then.
Yeah, like this one doesn't need to be a pit. The idea is right here, and this is just in between.
Okay.
This stage would also be cool with a coin clear condition. That would be a neat reason to encourage people to go different paths, up, down, down, up, if they have power up or not. That's interesting.
So one of the other ways to get to the top part, yeah, that's it. So shell jump. So if the So what you would be able to do if the red blocks were up, and you need to hit the on-off switch is actually is it even be high enough?
Let's see. You need a
So you
bullet bill
could run-
otherwise? Maybe.
Yes, yeah. The idea is to bill jump up there.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's enough space for it to curve over. It has to shoot from the left,
Yeah,
though, so...
Yeah. Oh, I did it! Screw it. Screw your bills. It's tight. You don't need a bill.
Oh, alright.
I like it.
No bill. Yeah.
Oh, no! Cool. That's everything. I like it.
Alright, so let me just compile my notes, which is the... Okay, so the first challenge there, that one's fine, just fill in the gap. The second one, either make the track or the fire bar longer. Or, sorry, no. It was make the fire bar longer or...
More complex on the track.
Desync the... Because right now they're both on the same direction. So they have the same angle, so just adjust the angle so they make a more complex timer.
Well, so the angles can't make a more complex timer if they're both static. That's the thing.
Okay.
The thing that makes it more than just, every cycle, this is the open window and this is the close, is if the track it's on has an irregular movement, like a V shape. So that means even though the two fire bars are synced, the position and the space between them changes just depending on the sort of the math, basically.
Yeah.
So whether making one bigger.
The thing about the fire bar rotation is the diagonal one actually. So when it's going in a straight line, it'll always loop back and have that and basically end up on the same point. The one that's diagonal, because it's longer, it's the one that actually doesn't do that.
Yeah, make that a little bit more exaggerated by extending the shape a little bit in one way or another. Because the more so typically complex timers like this make it to where there's less windows of opportunity and harder to see where their windows are, which is perfect when you're like, well, you could always go on the top level or use your shell to kind of pass through the fire. But if it's simple like this, Small Mario and Shell Mario have about the same likelihood of success.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last challenge, it was the same deal.
Move the on-off switch, and if you make the tracks in the middle one different, and then one bar in the last challenge longer, that should be a nice little difference.
All right, noted.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the workshop, guys. Where's Marcus? He's just not saying anything. He's in the chat. Where's Marcus? Yeah. Coming up in the future, I'm going to try to contact some media outlets. I'm going to try to promote the workshop a little bit and see what other people think about it. And, who knows what might happen there. But keep your eyes posted. The channel on our Discord will remain up. Nothing's really going to change too much in the next few days, except for a lot of us are going to be working on a super secret project. So too bad. Too bad, stream. Too bad.
Super secret.
Oh, Kime didn't even jump into that. Kime's busy.
Not right now.
Is Jeff gonna make an appearance? And it's cool, our main theme for the Mario Maker Workshop was created by Hayden. I was gonna do like an instrumental version, and then I realized I can't just keep throwing hobbies at myself. I have enough to do. Yeah, no problem, Spock. And everyone, don't forget to fill out the questionnaire in the workshop. If you guys came to the stream late, I'll show you this right here. This is my gift to all of you guys. This is a Mario Maker Workshop t-shirt. in which we got all of our Miis on it and other information that makes it really cool looking. So I'll be buying each of you guys this custom shirt, and you can wear it forever till it falls off your body.
Nice. Well, thanks for everything with the workshop. You put a ton of time into it, so was appreciated.
Thanks, guys. All right, so let me close this thing out and never stream again. Where is it? All right, guys, that is it for our final stream of the Mario Maker Workshop. It's been 20 long weeks, a lot of hard work. You can see it all for yourself. If you're curious if we're going to do this again, that just depends on how much support we get. And by support, I mean this, right? Like, that was a lot of work to do, but we paid for it with our time and our passion and a little bit of my money, and it was all worth it. So until next time, guys, we will continue to make levels. We'll continue to discuss level design and Mario design, and we'll continue to do cool things. If you want to be part of our community, you can find everything you need to know on our website, designoriented.net. There's our Twitter, our Twitch channel, our YouTube channel, our Discord, and everything that links to the Mario Maker Workshop. I will be hosting all 15 lessons. I'm going to upload 6 lessons like tonight or tomorrow that complete all the information that we learned on the website and the final congratulations page. So look forward to that. If you were ever trying to play catch up silently and not talking to us for whatever reason, you're going to get the stuff, so just hold on. But yeah, that's it. I'm tired, and I'm going to be playing other games in the near future. So until next time, guys, bye. Everybody say bye.
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 Bye, and thank you.
Later.
Thanks for all of this.